Too many people wonder why they feel drained, broken, and overlooked. But the truth is, they have given everyone too much access. When you make yourself too accessible, people stop appreciating what you bring. You have got to understand that your presence is not something everybody deserves on demand. When people don't earn your time, they will waste it without thinking twice. Protecting access to yourself isn't arrogance, it's wisdom. Think about it. When something is rare, people guard it. Diamonds are kept in safes, not in drawers. Gold is locked away, not left on a park bench. Why? Because value demands security. You can't treat yourself like everyday change in a pocket and then wonder why people treat you like you are replaceable. You must set the standard for how people handle you. Every time you make yourself too available, you are training people to take you for granted. You show them that your energy, your time, your advice, and your presence can be taken at will. And when that happens, people stop respecting you. They stop seeing you as valuable because you have made yourself common. Scarcity creates appreciation. Stop thinking you have to answer every phone call. Stop thinking you owe everyone an instant reply. Stop thinking people will love you more if you are always there. That's a lie. People don't love what they can get anytime. They love what they had to work for, wait for, and respect to keep. If you don't limit access, you limit your value. When you give everyone the same access, you blur the line between who deserves you and who doesn't. Not everybody is meant to walk with you. Not everybody deserves your inner circle. Some people are supposed to be at the doorway of your life, not sitting in your living room. But if you leave the door wide open, you are going to find your peace stolen and your purpose interrupted. Being valuable means being intentional. Now, you have to measure who gets your energy and who doesn't. Every yes to someone else is a no to yourself if you are not careful. And when you constantly prioritize others over yourself, you lose your identity in the process. Protecting your access is not selfish, it's survival. Start treating yourself like a rare treasure. When people realize they can't just walk in and drain you, they will respect you differently. They will see your time as valuable. They will show up prepared. They will think twice before wasting your energy. But it starts with you drawing the line. You can't expect people to value what you don't value yourself. One of the biggest reasons people stay stuck in life is that they don't know how to say no. They feel like they owe everyone their time, their attention, and their energy. Every request feels like an obligation. But the truth is, saying yes to everyone else is saying no to yourself. And when you live like that, you end up exhausted, resentful, and empty. You have to understand, no is not a rejection. It's not cruelty. It's not selfishness. No is a boundary. No is a decision to protect your focus, your dreams, and your peace. If you don't learn to say it without guilt, you will live your life pleasing people who don't even care about you when you are drained and broken. The problem is, too many people confuse kindness with weakness. You think that being available for everyone is love, but it's not. True love has boundaries. Even God doesn't answer every request the way we want. Sometimes he says no for our protection. If God can say no, why do you think you can't? Every time you say yes to things that don't serve you, you are pushing your goals further away. Think about how many hours you have wasted on things you didn't want to do, but felt guilty saying no to. Now imagine what could have happened if you had spent that same time building your dream, sharpening your skills, or resting to recharge. Saying no is not rejection, it's redirection. People will test your no. They will push back. They will try to guilt trip you, but you have to stand firm. The first time you say no and mean it, people will be shocked. The second time they will be annoyed, but the third time they will respect you. And once respect is established, you will start living with the freedom you didn't know was possible. The guilt you feel when saying no comes from the belief that other people's needs matter more than yours. That's not true. Your dreams matter. Your peace matters. Your health matters. If you keep saying yes out of guilt, you will never live the life you were meant to live. You will spend your years building everyone else's vision while neglecting your own. Learn this today. Your no is just as powerful as your yes. When you learn to say it without guilt, your life changes. You create space for your purpose, you guard your energy, and you show people you can't be controlled. That's when your value starts to rise because people know your time isn't for sale to the lowest bidder. Some of you are stuck because you are addicted to approval. You want people to like you so badly that you make yourself constantly available just to feel accepted. You live for likes, compliments, and applause. But here's the reality. Validation is a prison. As long as you need it, you will never be free. When you beg for validation, you hand over your power. You let people decide how valuable you are. One compliment makes you feel alive, but one criticism makes you want to quit. That means your worth is in their hands, not yours. And let me tell you, people are too unpredictable to be trusted with your value. Think about how exhausting it is to keep chasing approval. You shift who you are depending on who's around. You say yes when you want to say no. You laugh when you are not amused. You show up when you don't want to be there. All because you are terrified of losing people's acceptance. But at the end of the day, you lose yourself. You don't need 100 people to like you. You don't even need 10. You need to value yourself so much that even if nobody claps, you keep moving. When you know your worth, other people's opinions lose their grip. You no longer live for the applause. You live for the impact. The danger of begging for validation is that it makes you compromise. You will lower your standards just to keep people happy. You will keep toxic relationships because you are scared of being alone. You will give discounts on your value just so people don't walk away. But in doing that, you train others to never take you seriously. Approval is temporary. One day they cheer, the next day they boo. One day they love you, the next day they leave you. You can't build your identity on something so fragile. Your confidence has to come from within, from knowing you are valuable whether or not anyone else says it. When you stop begging for validation, everything changes. You stop being desperate. You stop chasing. You stop over-explaining yourself. Instead, you start walking in confidence. You start making decisions based on purpose, not popularity. And when you do that, people who used to overlook you will suddenly see you as someone they can't ignore. Most people will guard their wallet with their life, but they give away their time like it's free candy. If someone tried to snatch $20 out of your hand, you'd fight back. But when people steal hours of your day, you just let it slide. You have to start treating your time like it's your currency, because once it's gone forever. You can lose money and earn it back, but you can't get a refund on wasted hours. Every minute you spend is either an investment or an expense. Some minutes grow your future and some minutes drain it. When you waste time on distractions, drama, and people who don't add value, you are spending like a fool. But when you dedicate your hours to growth, purpose, and building your dream, you are investing in yourself like a wealthy person who multiplies every dollar. Think about how often people waste your time without you even realizing it. Someone calls you just to gossip and suddenly 30 minutes are gone. Someone pulls you into their drama and an hour disappears. You scroll endlessly on your phone and 2 hours vanish. If you added up all the stolen minutes, you'd see you are losing more than money. You are losing your life. The problem is nobody teaches us to budget our time. We budget our money. We know how much is going out and coming in. But time, we just give it to whoever asks. And because of that, we end up broken opportunities, broken peace, broken growth. You need a time budget. You need to ask yourself every day, where is my time going? Who is spending it? Am I getting a return? Time is the great equalizer. Everybody gets 24 hours a day. The difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck is how they use those hours. The successful guard their time like it's gold. They don't waste it on things that don't align with their purpose. They don't entertain distractions. They know every second counts towards something bigger. You have to train people to respect your time by respecting it yourself. If you show up late, if you waste your own hours, if you let people interrupt you whenever they feel like it, you are teaching them that your time is invaluable. But when you start being intentional, blocking time, saying no, setting limits, people start noticing you are serious. Your time becomes precious because you treat it that way. Ask yourself this: if you had to pay $100 for every wasted hour, how different would your life look? You wouldn't spend 3 hours gossiping. You wouldn't binge watch shows that don't add value. You wouldn't hang around people who drain you. You'd guard your hours with the same intensity you guard your money. And when you start treating your time like the treasure it is, everything in your life begins to shift. Some of you are stuck in the same place year after year because you waste your energy on nonsense that adds nothing to your life. You sit around listening to gossip, watching other people's business, scrolling through drama on your phone, and then wonder why your mind feels heavy and your spirit feels drained. Nonsense will always show up, but it's your choice whether you give it your attention or not. Some people treat you like their personal trash can. They call you with complaints, negativity, and every problem under the sun. And instead of cutting it off, you sit there and soak it up. Before you know it, you have spent an hour listening to something that didn't solve anything and didn't move you an inch forward. That's not kindness, that's sabotage. You cannot entertain nonsense and expect progress. You have got to recognize that not every phone call deserves to be answered. Not every text needs a reply. Not every conversation deserves your voice. The moment you decide that your time is too valuable for foolishness, you start rising to a different level. But if you keep letting people pour nonsense into your spirit, you will never have room for vision, for growth, or for clarity. Nonsense doesn't just come from people, it comes from habits too. Hours spent binge watching shows that don't inspire you, arguments on social media with strangers you will never meet, and comparing your life to people who are faking it online. That's all nonsense. And while you are busy entertaining it, the opportunities that could change your life are passing you by. When you entertain nonsense, you train yourself to settle for less. Your mind becomes cluttered with things that don't matter, and you can't focus on what does. You can't build a business with a head full of gossip. You can't grow spiritually while drowning in negativity. You can't chase your purpose while you are distracted by noise. You have got to start filtering what gets your energy. If it doesn't inspire you, if it doesn't push you, if it doesn't align with your goals, then it's nonsense, and nonsense has no seat at your table. Every time you say no to it, you say yes to peace, yes to progress, yes to power. But if you keep opening the door to foolishness, don't be surprised when you feel empty at the end of the day. Your energy is like fuel and you only have so much of it each day. When you spend it on nonsense, you run out before you even get to the things that matter. But when you stop entertaining it, you have the strength to build, to grow, and to focus on what really counts. That's the difference between people who move forward and people who stay stuck. Some of you keep draining yourselves because you feel like you have to be everywhere with everybody at every event, saying yes to every invite. You are showing up to places you don't even want to be just because you don't want to disappoint someone or miss out. But being everywhere doesn't make you valuable. It makes you common. The more you spread yourself thin, the less people respect your presence when you actually show up. Think about it. The most valuable things in life are rare. Diamonds aren't on every corner. Gold doesn't sit in piles on the sidewalk. Exclusive tickets aren't sold in bulk to everyone who wants one. Rarity creates demand, and demand creates respect. But when you make yourself available to every crowd, every function, every conversation, you water down your value until people see you as just another face in the room. There's a big difference between being social and being strategic. Social is when you go everywhere just to say you were there. Strategic is when you choose the right rooms, the right people, and the right opportunities that actually align with your purpose. Some of you are tired not because life is hard, but because you are wasting time in the wrong places with the wrong people. When you keep showing up everywhere, people stop noticing you. You become predictable. They know you will always be there, so they don't appreciate you. But when you choose wisely, when you make your presence count, people lean in when you arrive. They pay attention when you speak. They recognize that your time is valuable because you don't hand it out to every invitation that comes your way. Every yes you give to unnecessary places is a no to your goals, your rest, or your growth. You can't build your dream if you are constantly running to everybody else's party, meeting, or event. You have to be intentional. Stop letting fear of missing out control you. What you should really fear is missing out on your own future while you are busy showing up for everyone else's agenda. You need to understand that not every room is meant for you. Some rooms will drain you, some will distract you, and some will destroy you if you keep showing up in them. Protect your presence, protect your time, protect your spirit. Not every circle deserves your chair, and not every crowd deserves your energy. When you stop showing up everywhere, your presence starts to carry weight. People begin to notice that when you do appear, it means something. They respect your time because you respect it. They see you as rare, not common. And that shift in how you move changes the way people treat you, the way opportunities find you, and the way your life begins to elevate. There is a power in silence that most people overlook. Too many of you are busy talking, explaining, defending, and justifying everything you do. You think that if you say enough, people will understand you, respect you, or stop doubting you. But silence speaks louder than explanations ever could. When you master silence, you shift the way people perceive you and the way they treat you. Sometimes you don't need to argue. You just need to let your results talk. If somebody doesn't believe in your vision, silence is stronger than debate. You don't need to convince them. You don't need to waste energy explaining your plan. Just keep building. When the results show up, silence will say everything you never had to. Silence also protects your dreams. Every time you speak on something too soon, you expose it to criticism, doubt, and negativity. Some of you are failing not because your dream is bad, but because you talk too much too early to the wrong people. Keep some things private. Keep your next move to yourself. Not everyone deserves front row access to your vision. There's also strength in not reacting. People will test you, provoke you, and try to pull you into drama. They want to see if they can get a row. Eyes out of you. When you respond with silence, you take away their power. Nothing confuses an enemy more than a calm, silent reaction. It shows them you can't be controlled, and that's a power few people carry. Think about how uncomfortable silence makes most people. They feel the need to fill it, to explain, to overshare. But the one who controls silence controls the room. The one who is comfortable in silence becomes mysterious, respected, and even feared. People pay attention to those who don't always reveal everything because mystery creates value. Mastering silence doesn't mean being passive. It means being strategic. It means knowing when to speak and when to withhold. It means controlling your tongue so you don't sabotage yourself with words spoken in anger or desperation. Some battles are won not by what you say, but by what you don't. The more you practice silence, the more people will notice. They will see you as wise, disciplined, and intentional. They will know you don't waste words. They will learn that when you do speak, it matters. And once your voice carries that kind of weight, you won't need to shout, explain, or defend. Your silence will have already said enough. When somebody says something to you, your first instinct is to clap back, defend yourself, or prove a point. But most of the time, that quick reaction isn't your smartest move. It's just your emotions trying to lead. When you rush to respond, you hand over your power without even realizing it. You give people control over your mood, your energy, and your focus. The one who controls their tongue controls the moment. Think about how many arguments have escalated simply because someone couldn't wait 2 seconds before responding. It's not always about being right. It's about being wise. Silence for just a moment gives you space to think, to evaluate, and to measure whether your words will help you or hurt you. Patience in communication is a form of strength most people overlook. When you are quick to respond, you reveal your hand too soon. You show your thoughts, your weaknesses, and your emotions in raw form. But when you hold back, you create mystery, you hold the upper ground, and you make the other person second guess themselves. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is not rushing to make one at all. Every response doesn't deserve your energy. Not everything people throw at you requires a comeback. Some things are just bait, meant to drag you into drama or arguments that drain you. When you learn not to respond instantly, you save yourself from battles that don't even belong to you in the first place. Delaying your response doesn't mean weakness. It means wisdom. It means you care more about the outcome than the impulse. A delayed response can shut down confusion, cut off manipulation, and redirect negativity before it even lands. The more you practice pausing, the stronger your decision-making gets. Even in opportunities, don't rush to answer. Whether it's a job offer, a partnership, or a deal, your silence and patience give you leverage. People respect the one who doesn't jump at everything right away. They know you are calculating, discerning, and aware of your worth. That pause makes you more powerful than an immediate yes or no. The truth is, control belongs to the person who doesn't rush. The world reacts fast, but those who slow down their responses stay 3 steps ahead. Master the pause, and you will find that timing, not speed, often wins the battle. Your circle is everything. It's the people you allow close enough to influence your mind, your heart, and your actions. If you don't protect it, you will watch your peace get destroyed, your focus disappear, and your energy be drained without even realizing it. Not everybody deserves a seat at your table. Not everybody deserves to know your dreams, your plans, or why God, our struggles. Some of you are surrounded by people who don't lift you. They drain you. They gossip, they complain, they criticize, and they distract. And because you don't set boundaries, you let them in. You let them talk to you like they own a piece of your life. That's how you get stuck in cycles of negativity, stress, and unfulfilled potential. Protecting your circle is protecting yourself. You need to understand that influence is powerful. A single toxic friend can undo months of progress in a single conversation. A single negative voice can plant seeds of doubt that grow into fear and hesitation. That's why you have to be intentional about who you allow close. Your circle should inspire you, challenge you in the right way, and push you toward greatness, not hold you back. It's not about being exclusive, it's about being selective. Some people are meant to walk with you a season, and some are meant to pass through. You don't have to keep everyone around just because they were once close. Loyalty is important, but it has to be mutual. If people are constantly taking, distracting, or disrespecting you, they need to be removed. The wrong people in your circle will kill your momentum. They will make you second guess yourself. They will celebrate your failures and downplay your wins. You cannot allow people like that to sit in your inner circle. Your dreams require focus, your purpose requires peace, and your energy requires protection. When you protect your circle, you also protect your mind. You start creating an environment that fosters growth, positivity, and ambition. You start spending more time with people who push you to be better, challenge you to think bigger, and encourage you to rise above mediocrity. That's how value multiplies. It starts with the company you keep. Not every connection is worth nurturing. Not every relationship deserves your trust. Protecting your circle doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It means being intentional with your energy and influence. Your circle sets the tone for your life, your decisions, and your future, so guard it like your most valuable asset. Boundaries are not a suggestion. They are a necessity. Too many of you allow people to cross lines over and over because you are afraid of confrontation or fear being disliked. But without boundaries, you become a doormat. You permit people to take what isn't theirs, and over time, that erodes your peace, your focus, and your value. Setting a boundary starts with understanding your worth. If you value yourself, you will refuse to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or energy drains. Boundaries aren't just about saying no. They are about saying yes to yourself. They are about protecting your time, your energy, your goals, and your peace from the people who don't care enough to respect them. The problem is that boundaries without enforcement are useless. If you tell someone you won't answer calls late at night, but continue picking up at 11 p.m., you just train them to ignore your limits. Enforcement is the key. Your actions must match your words. Otherwise, boundaries become a suggestion to others rather than a rule for yourself. People will test your boundaries. That's human nature. They will push, prod, and challenge to see how far they can go. Some will try to guilt you. Some will try to manipulate your emotions. But a strong boundary stands firm no matter what. Enforcement shows people that your time, energy, and presence are not negotiable. Boundaries are not just about protecting yourself. They also teach respect. When you clearly define what is acceptable and what is not, people start seeing you differently. They start taking you seriously. They learn that your energy isn't for free, your time isn't for abuse, and your peace isn't for compromise. Boundaries create clarity, and clarity creates value. Without boundaries, chaos fills your life. You will constantly feel drained, anxious, and frustrated. People will take advantage of your availability, and you will be left wondering why you are exhausted while everyone else moves forward. Boundaries are a shield. They prevent unnecessary battles, protect your focus, and preserve your vision. Remember this, enforcing boundaries is an act of self-respect. It may be uncomfortable at first, and some people may walk away, but those who respect you will rise to meet your standards. And every time you stand firm, you teach yourself and others that your life, your time, and your energy are not disposable. Too many people undervalue themselves. They give away their time, their talent, and their energy for free, thinking that people won't show up unless they offer it at a discount. But when you discount yourself, the world takes that as permission to undervalue you. If you don't put a price on your worth, others will decide it for you, and they will always choose the lowest. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, every time you give advice, help, or effort without receiving respect or reciprocity, you are sending a message that your value is negotiable. It's not. You weren't put here to be someone's convenience or backup plan. You were put here to be exceptional, and your energy should be reserved for people and opportunities that recognize that the problem is too many of us have been taught that humility means discounting ourselves. But true humility isn't giving yourself away. It's understanding your worth and walking in it without arrogance. You can be humble and still demand respect. You can be kind and still refuse to be taken for granted. The two are not mutually exclusive. Think about it this way. If a business sold its products at half price all the time, people would never value it. They would expect discounts, they would never pay full price, and the company would struggle to survive. That's exactly what happens when you discount yourself. People stop taking you seriously because you made yourself cheap. You are not cheap. You are priceless. Stop apologizing for your expertise, your experience, and your presence. Stop trying to please everyone by lowering your standards. Stop being the person who shows up for free while others profit. You have gifts, talents, and energy that are worth paying for, not just monetarily, but in respect, attention, and appreciation. You need to set the standard for how people treat you. When you stop discounting yourself, you attract people who see your value, who respect your time, and who honor your energy. You start dealing with people who understand that your presence is not a convenience, it's a privilege. Your life begins to reflect your true worth once you stop offering it for less than it deserves. The moment you decide to stop discounting yourself, everything shifts. People who used to take advantage begin to realize you are no longer available on demand. Doors open to new opportunities that respect your time and your skills. Your energy is no longer drained by those who don't care. And most importantly, you begin to treat yourself the way you were always meant to be treated. Showing up isn't enough. Too many people go through life physically present, but mentally and emotionally absent. Being there without purpose is just noise. If you want to be valuable, you have to be intentional with your presence. Every time you enter a room, every conversation you join, every interaction you have should carry weight. You need to show up like you matter, because when you do, people notice. Intentional presence means understanding the impact you leave behind. You can't just drift through life hoping people will appreciate you. You have to make every moment count. Speak with purpose, act with focus, and contribute in ways that leave others better than you found them. When you show up carelessly, you train people to expect mediocrity. But when you show up intentionally, you command respect. Some of you waste your presence by being distracted. You are on your phone, thinking about other things, scrolling through social media while sitting in a conversation. You are physically there, but your energy is somewhere else. Intentional presence demands that you invest your attention fully. When people feel your focus, your energy, and your commitment, your presence becomes a gift, not just a habit. Being intentional also means being selective about where and with whom you show up. Not every room deserves your time, and not every group deserves your energy. Show up for people who matter, who lift you, who challenge you to grow. Your presence is a resource. It's not meant to be squandered on situations or people that devalue it. Intentional presence requires preparation. You can't just walk into a room and expect to leave an impact. You have to be ready mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Know your goals for each interaction. Know the value you want to give. Know the standard you demand. When you prepare, your presence carries purpose and leaves a lasting impression. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who show up everywhere. They are the ones who show up where it counts, with energy, intention, and focus. They understand that their presence is powerful and they use it strategically. Every room they enter becomes a place where respect, influence, and opportunity follow them. When you start being intentional with your presence, you stop being ordinary and start becoming remarkable. People begin to recognize that you don't waste time, you don't drift, and you don't show up without purpose. Your energy starts to shift the atmosphere, your influence starts to grow, and your value multiplies because you learn to show up deliberately, not randomly. Excellence is the ultimate form of value. People chase attention, popularity, and recognition, but all of that fades if your skills and abilities aren't sharp. When you focus on becoming excellent at what you do, your presence, your words, and your results begin to speak for themselves. Excellence is what makes people stop, notice, and respect you without you begging for it. Most people get caught up in looking good instead of being good. They care more about the image than the substance, but substance wins every time. When you commit to developing mastery in your craft, the quality of your work becomes undeniable. People sense excellence and they instinctively gravitate toward it because it inspires confidence, trust, and admiration. Excellence requires effort, discipline, and consistency. You can't expect overnight results or shortcuts. Every skill, every habit, every mindset you develop compounds over time. If you are not willing to put in the work behind the scenes, you will never achieve the level of respect and influence that comes with true excellence. Focus means saying no to distractions and mediocrity. Excellence demands that you prioritize growth over entertainment, progress over comfort, and purpose over approval. Every time you choose practice over procrastination, learning over laziness, and focus over frivolity, you are investing in the kind of excellence that people can't ignore. Excellence isn't about perfection. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Small, consistent improvements create momentum that compounds over time. The person who dedicates themselves to excellence, even quietly, eventually becomes unstoppable. Their reputation precedes them, and doors open that weren't available to those who chase attention instead of substance. You must also understand that excellence attracts the right people and opportunities. When your skills, knowledge, and energy are exceptional, you naturally draw those who value them. People will seek your counsel, respect your decisions, and invest in your vision because they recognize the quality you bring. Excellence is magnetic. It pulls the right circumstances toward you. Focusing on becoming excellent changes how the world interacts with you. People stop questioning your worth, they stop trying to manipulate you, and they stop doubting your abilities. Your value becomes clear because your results are undeniable, your discipline is visible, and your presence carries weight. Excellence is the language everyone understands, and once you master it, your life begins to reflect the power of intentional growth. One of the fastest ways to drain your energy and lower your value is by over-explaining yourself. Some of you feel like you owe everyone a justification for every choice, every action, every decision you make. But the truth is, you don't owe anybody an explanation. Your life, your choices, and your time are yours to manage. Over-explaining doesn't clarify, it diminishes. When you constantly explain, you give others a map to manipulate you. You reveal your reasoning, your vulnerabilities, and your insecurities. People pick apart every word, every excuse, every justification, and then use it to control or influence you. The more you talk to prove yourself, the more power you hand to the wrong people. Over-explaining also signals insecurity. It tells people that you are not confident in your decisions, that you need their approval to feel okay. Confidence is magnetic. Insecurity is contagious. When you stop over-explaining, you send a message that you trust your judgment, that you value your choices, and that your decisions aren't up for debate. You don't have to defend your vision or your path. People will always have opinions, but opinions don't define reality. You can explain yourself to the people who matter, but not to everyone who questions you. Silence in the face of criticism shows strength. Over-explaining shows weakness. The difference is subtle but life-changing. Some of you over-explain out of guilt or fear of being misunderstood. You think that if people knew the whole story, they would respect you or support you. But the truth is, clarity doesn't require a long speech. Clarity comes from your actions, your results, and your presence. If people truly care, they will see the value in what you do without a lecture. Over-explaining wastes your energy and slows down your progress. Every hour spent justifying yourself is an hour taken from building, growing, and creating. Stop trying to make everyone understand you. Focus on those who already value you and invest your energy there. People who don't see your worth don't need an explanation. They need distance. When you stop over-explaining, your power increases. People respect your decisions, your boundaries, and your silence. Your energy stays protected. Your presence becomes impactful because it's deliberate, not defensive. And once you embrace that, you will notice a shift in how people interact with you. They start to respect you, not argue with you. Value is created when you are selective, not when you are available to everyone. Too many people try to be liked by everyone, saying yes to every request, every invitation, every opportunity that comes their way. But when you are everywhere, your presence loses power. Rarity creates demand. When you are selective, people start noticing, people start respecting, and opportunities start chasing you. Being selective doesn't mean being arrogant. It means being intentional. It means knowing your worth and refusing to give it away to situations or people that don't align with your goals. When you choose wisely, you communicate a subtle message. Your energy, time, and presence are valuable, and only those who understand that deserve access. Some of you say yes to everything out of fear. Fear of missing out, fear of rejection, fear of being overlooked. That fear will kill your value faster than anything else. The moment you learn to say no strategically, the moment you start prioritizing quality over quantity, your influence begins to rise. People notice when you stop being everyone's backup plan and start being someone's priority. Selectivity also forces you to focus. You can't give your best to 100 different paths at once. But when you choose carefully where to invest your energy, you maximize your impact. You bring excellence, thoughtfulness, and power into the spaces that truly matter. And that's how demand is created. Not by showing up everywhere, but by showing up where it counts. When you are selective, people respect your decisions. They know you are not available on a whim. They learn that if they want your time or attention, they have to value it. That respect multiplies your influence and creates opportunities that wouldn't exist if you were constantly scattering yourself everywhere. Selectivity turns you from common to coveted. Being selective also teaches people patience. They learn that you can't be rushed, that your energy isn't disposable, and that if they want access, they have to earn it. That patience builds anticipation, and anticipation creates demand. People begin to wait for your input, your presence, and your decisions because they know your time is not given freely. Being selective is about owning your power. It's about knowing that your presence, your voice, and your energy are assets, not conveniences. When you stop being available to everyone and start being intentional about who you allow in, you create demand naturally. People begin to see you as valuable because you have learned to value yourself first. Most people live their lives chasing approval, constantly trying to meet everyone else's expectations instead of following their own path. They bend, compromise, and adjust themselves to fit in, hoping for validation. But approval is fleeting. People's opinions change with their mood, their circumstances, and their biases. When you build your life around approval, you are living on shifting sand, and eventually you will sink. Purpose, on the other hand, is steady. Purpose gives direction, motivation, and clarity. When you center your life around what you were put here to do, your energy is focused on building something real, meaningful, and lasting. Approval may make you feel good for a moment, but purpose drives you for a lifetime. Purpose doesn't depend on likes, applause, or praise. It depends on your commitment to you. Your vision, living for approval, creates stress, anxiety, and constant second guessing. You will overthink every decision, every move, every word you speak. You will be trapped in a cycle of trying to please people who may never understand your journey. Purpose frees you from that trap. It allows you to make decisions confidently, to prioritize what truly matters, and to keep moving even when others doubt or criticize you. People who chase approval often compromise their values to gain acceptance. They say yes when they should say no. They follow paths that feel safe rather than those that challenge them. And in the process, they lose themselves. Purpose anchors you. It helps you make choices aligned with your values, your goals, and your growth. It protects you from being pulled off course by others' expectations. When you build around purpose, the right people and opportunities naturally align with you. You attract relationships, partnerships, and connections that resonate with your mission. People who respect your purpose will support you. Those who don't will fade away. Approval is temporary and unreliable, but purpose builds a foundation that draws the right energy to you. Purpose gives your life meaning beyond momentary validation. It turns your work, your actions, and your sacrifices into something bigger than yourself. It allows you to measure success not by applause, but by progress and impact. People who center their lives on purpose wake up each day with energy, focus, and drive because their actions have significance that no opinion can ever take away. The moment you stop living for approval, everything changes. You start making choices that align with your growth. You stop over-explaining, over-compromising, and overextending yourself for the sake of being liked. Your life begins to reflect intentionality, clarity, and value because you are no longer building for everyone else. You are building for the person you were meant to become. Too many people settle in relationships because they fail to recognize their own worth. They compromise, tolerate disrespect, and give far more than they receive, all because they are afraid of being alone or rejected. But the moment you understand your value, you stop accepting less than you deserve. You begin to set the standard for how people treat you. Your worth is not determined by what someone else gives you. It's determined by what you know you deserve. If you undervalue yourself, you attract people who mirror that thinking. But when you stand firm in your value, you attract those who see it, honor it, and compliment it. Recognizing your worth changes the way you engage, the way you respond, and the way you allow others to enter your life. Some of you are constantly bending over backward to please partners, friends, or family members, thinking that love, acceptance, or respect is earned through sacrifice. That's a lie. True respect and genuine love are mutual. They don't require you to diminish yourself. Once you recognize your worth, you refuse to give from an empty cup, and that sets a tone for healthier, stronger, and more balanced relationships. Boundaries in relationships are a reflection of self-worth. When you recognize your value, you know what is acceptable and what isn't. You don't tolerate gossip, manipulation, or disrespect. You don't stay in relationships out of obligation or fear. You demand clarity, respect, and alignment, and people either rise to meet it or step aside. That's how value creates healthy dynamics. Recognizing your worth also means understanding when to walk away. Some relationships drain you, distract you, or stunt your growth. If you cling to them out of fear, you undermine your own potential. When you truly understand your value, you make decisions that protect your peace, your growth, and your purpose. Walking away isn't rejection, it's preservation. Many people confuse loyalty with self-sacrifice, but loyalty without self-respect becomes a trap. Recognizing your worth ensures that loyalty is reciprocal. You don't stay in relationships where you are used, ignored, or undervalued. You invest in connections where your presence is cherished, your contributions matter, and your energy is respected. That's how strong, empowering relationships are built. The moment you start recognizing your worth in relationships, everything shifts. You stop chasing approval, trying to fix people, or bending over backward to be accepted. You begin to demand respect naturally, attract healthy connections, and operate from a place of power rather than desperation. Your relationships begin to reflect your value, and your life starts aligning with the people and energy you truly deserve. Predictability is the enemy of value. When people know exactly how you will respond, what you will say, and where you will be, your presence loses power. Life becomes routine, and others stop respecting the energy you bring. If you want to stand out, if you want to be valued, you need to break the patterns that make you easy to read. Being predictable doesn't just affect how others see you. It affects how you see yourself. When you live life on autopilot, you settle into comfort zones and let opportunities pass by unnoticed. Predictability is the silent killer of growth, ambition, and influence. People respect those who can surprise, challenge, and elevate a situation because it shows depth, awareness, and intentionality. Some of you are predictable because you are afraid of being misunderstood. You stick to routines, safe behaviors, and easy answers to avoid conflict.